All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the very last panel session. And as mentioned just now, it's a quick teaser. It's about neuromarketing. Sounds foreign to some. Maybe some people say, oh, old school again. But really, it's not really old school. It's always been around. It's that maybe it's not been given a label. It is basically one way to get what you want by tugging the heartstrings of people, something you will always remember when you touch people emotionally, and also it stays on with their memories forever. Like for example, what they say about travel and the hospitality. When you experience something so good, you will forever remember it. Like how when I was growing up, I remember going on holidays with my family, and one particular holiday I remember was on this cruise ship. So because my brother and I, we were quite small, so we couldn't eat whatever that was being served. It was the Army, the Air Force cruise, because my father was with the Air Force. So they ordered something really special, so we'll forever remember. So this kind of technique, which is now the emergence of neuromarketing, something which, yes, we must take note of, and I think it's also applicable everywhere across the board in all industries as well. So the next panel session is called Revitalizing Tourism, the Emergence of Neuromarketing. And we will be joined by, of course, a moderator who has been in the training. He's an expert in his field. He's been around doing this many, many places all around Malaysia and also Brunei. So let's welcome our moderator, who is a professional trainer and consultant for management, soft skills, very important, and other etiquette courses. And he has covered both private and government departments and agencies in Malaysia and also Brunei. So he specializes in personal development and corporate courses, including SME development, corporate branding, communication skills, customer service, stress management, which I think is really, really very important, leadership skills, marketing, human resources, digital business strategies, and much more. So let's welcome our moderator for the very last short and sweet, but very, very memorable panel session, Dr. Kamril Abdul Karim, who is a professional trainer and consultant, and is a senior lecturer with Universiti Teknologi Emara. And joining him, we'd like to invite the panel members. We have joining the panel members online, Ms. Angelica Chan and Mr. Gary Tay, and joining in person, we'd like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Salmi Mohd Isa.
Okay.
Sorry, over to you, Dr. Kamril.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, or probably good evening by now. So, ladies and gentlemen, how are you feeling today? Is that only good after sandwiches? After good food? Is that only what you can tell me? Come on. All right, how are you guys feeling today, ladies and gentlemen? All right, awesome. Okay, now, may I stand for a while before we start, because this is the best. People always say save the best for last. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is all about something that we wanted to actually, point it out. I wanted to give you the first questions before we start. Over here in this room, I would like to ask, how many of you would choose yogurt versus ice cream? How many would you choose yogurt? Raise up your hand. Yogurt. These people are so healthy conscious. Okay. How many of you would go for ice cream? Very interesting. Okay, I'll go for ice cream definitely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why I would ask you these questions? Because as a human, our brain has what we call by the black box, all right? And we always search for something exciting. We always search for pleasure. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what we will talk about this beautiful afternoon, rather beautiful evening. With me right now, we have Dr. Salmi. So let's welcome Dr. Salmi. So Dr. Salmi, I'll give it to you. Probably you wanted to say something about yourself.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Dr. K.
You're most welcome.
You're right. Okay. So, yeah, I'm Salmi from Graduate School of Business, Universiti Sains, Malaysia. We have heard about hybrid from the morning until now, yeah. So I'm also a hybrid person. I was with industry before I joined the academia. And when I joined the academia again, I also in hybrid mode. When I'm not a neurologist, not been trained to become a neurologist, but I have been trained to do research, study about human brain. And yeah, in USM, we do have a facility for neuroscience. But basically, that's basically for patients. And recently, we also have this lab for the neuromarketing, just recently started. And of course, it's a start, just a started. And we are also looking forward to collaborate with industry because we know,
that's interesting. Neurology, neuromarketing lab, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are in the industry, let's welcome this neuro lab from USM. A big clap to them.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so we are looking forward to collaborate. Yes, we know that neuroscience tool is not cheap. It's very expensive, but we need to moving forward to have an impact for the research and also for the industry.
All right, interesting. All right, thank you so much, Associate Professor Dr. Salmi from USM. And with me, we have two distinguished guests. And this lady smiling next to me, she is Miss Angelica from Traveloka. Miss Angelica, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you, Dr. K.
All right, okay. All right, awesome. Would you want to say something? I mean, introduce yourself or probably do a little bit of pitching for Traveloka.
So I'm Angelica Chan, the country manager for Traveloka Malaysia. Fundamentally, Traveloka is a travel super app that actually provides convenience, right, for all our travelers to fulfill their travel and lifestyle aspirations. So travelers will have access to over 1 million hotels, over 200 airlines, 250 tours and travel operators, 750 bus and car rentals right throughout the world, and airport transfers as well in Traveloka super app itself. So a traveler just need to actually download the app and book your COVID tests before you fly, book your airline tickets on Traveloka, book your airport transfer or car rental, then your room and hotels for your stay at your destination, and then your theme parks, tours, and spas, and many more, just in one single platform.
Right? I just booked your hotel. I just booked Traveloka just now while waiting for my turn.
Fantastic.
I am not
and
kidding.
And of course, that's for our partners.
All right.
For our partners then and new partners, we will help you to digitalize your business and promote it to our over 40 million monthly active users.
Okay.
So we will help one another.
Wonderful. And with us today, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Gary. He's so bubbly when we had the first meeting. And Mr. Gary Tay, the CEO of Amphibia Digital Sdn Bhd. So, Mr. Gary, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Kamril, and my fellow esteemed panelists. Well, what about me? Well, I've traveled 35 years in the advertising, digital marketing, and IT industry. I have a career with multinational agencies such as BSB Malaysia and Leo Burnett, and later on I co-founded my own agency. Over the years, I've served with the committee as a committee member in the 4As Malaysia, which is an association for advertising agencies. I co-founded the Malaysian Digital Advertising Association, and today I'm an exco in the International Advertising Association, the Malaysian chapter. Okay, I think over the years I've worked on the whole spectrum of brands out there, I think from banking, travel, and all kinds of aspects. I did the rebranding for Standard Chartered Bank many years ago. Worked on Marlboro Classics, BMW, Malaysia Airlines, DG, and lots more. The list is just too many to mention, but that's basically about me.
Okay.
Today, okay.
All
Thanks.
right, I'm sure we have so much to share later because we have a very interesting video which Mr. Gary is gonna share with us later from an airline company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I move on further, I would like to ask another question. How many of you buy a product using only logic thinking? Raise up your hand. Only logic thinking. How many of you would buy a product without emotional affection? Dr. Salmi, they are thinking. Ladies, how many of you buy handbags with logic thinking? Are you sure, ladies? All right, now, we wanted to know over here how this tourism and hospitality industry would be able to capitalize on neuromarketing. And ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to understand what is it all about this neurology and how this neurology is actually trying to trigger of our underlying thinking, perception, emotions. And that's why many people, and I keep on telling to many of my clients, don't sell logic, sell emotions. The more that you sell logic, people will compare your products and other competitors' products. So without further ado, let's ask the person who would know the best about this neuromarketing from Dr. Salmi. So Dr. Salmi.
Thank you very much, Dr. K. That's a very, very brilliant introduction. Basically, neuromarketing is not really new. Perhaps that it has been started quite a decade ago. And it just recently, especially when we have this pre-COVID and post-COVID, when the behavior, especially the consumer behavior, definitely changed, right? Like you said that people nowadays is buying things not only by logic, and there is other additional value that we as a marketers may need to understand very well. What is the customer needs and wants? We know that we always have heard about the 4 Ps. That's a very traditional price, promotions. What else?
Products.
Place.
Yeah.
One more?
Products,
right. So that's a very traditional way.
Very
Kotler. All right, and after that, we have listened about the 4 Cs.
Yeah.
Right, the convenience, the cost. What else?
Forgot about that.
All right, so Minister said that we as a marketers try to add up value when we introduce our products and services. The same goes to the tourism industry. We cannot be at the same what we have done before. Especially nowadays, our consumer, they are very much educated. They're very exposed to many kind of technologies. We are talking about the IR 4.0 and especially nowadays, everything is within our fingertips.
So how does that neurology thingy will come to play in terms of making people to buy things they don't need to buy?
All right. So of course, this is not something very new, especially when we talk about in the retailing markets. If you go to the shopping complex, all right, and especially you go to any retailer's market, sometimes you just plan, you have a list, but at the end of the day, you go back with full cart. So this is how that marketing is actually create the impulsive buying. So the same goes to the neuromarketing. We not try when we discuss, we not try to use the words manipulating.
We would not manipulate customers, ladies and gentlemen, but how do we influence customers?
Exactly. So as a marketers, we try to put neuromarketing into two perspectives. One in the perspective of the consumer's shoes, another one, of course, for the industry or for the business. So I wanted to say that neuromarketing can basically benefit both. Right? We can actually using neuromarketing to also educate our customer instead of them buying impulsively, but they might also have some thinking, all right, that to relate with the personality, one of it, how they can actually buy the products that they really want. As you mentioned earlier that we have a consumer, we have the black box. We normally do decisions, this is how our brain works, by have more on the subconscious mind rather than conscious mind. So with that, we realize what we are doing in our decision making, especially in buying things, we are basically using our subconscious mind. So this is where neuromarketing come into place to actually address those issues, that helping the marketers to produce a new product, that helping the tourism industry to produce a very attractive, what we call travel package, for example, and we also helping our consumer or our travelers to choose a right destination that they would like to go.
Should we ask them to make the right destination, or should we actually can create irrational decisions? So ladies and gentlemen, there are times that when we have customers, we can actually influence the way that they purchase things, which means there are times they don't even think of buying a certain products. So neurology, we are thinking on how we manipulate the black box in order for them to think, hey, this is not bad. So this is what we are going to listen on how, from the perspective of Traveloka, okay, Miss Angelica, how would that be from the tourism players applying neuromarketing? Over to you.
Thanks, Dr. Karim. So neuromarketing in tourism and hospitality has that potential to be used and understand the unconscious drivers of choice in the customer, right? So as Professor Salmi explained earlier, our unconscious mind can really reveal the important details about the hotel booking process and the consumer behavior, especially in today's digital environment. So going online or going digital, Traveloka provides visuals with strong images that triggers the minds and bring out the elements of emotions in campaigns, right? So driving people to the digital or online or social, a survey has revealed that 52% of our Gen Z spends their money on experiential purchases, right? So for instance, for Traveloka during our 10th anniversary, we utilize AR to actually gamify the user's experience on Travel Super app, right? So the AR, with such AR gamification, we are able to combine the brand engagement and voucher distribution in a single platform with that technology. So we see within that week itself, there were over 15,000 app users that have actually played the Cut the Cake AR game on Traveloka. So it's huge, right? So data provides us with insights, and it allows us to offer this seamless, local, and personalized user experiences, which is a core factor in revitalizing our tourism industry.
Okay.
So for people,
it's all right. Go ahead.
So for people that visits the travel and tourism platform, Traveloka can then analyze the buying and the purchasing behaviors during and after buying the products and services, right? And enabling us to create a platform that meets the needs of the future clients, and in turn help Traveloka as well to be a super app. So this innovation is there. The features are there to engage the users to actually improve their experiences in Traveloka. And this will actually increase the users' benefit, right, in our platform, including our partners. Right? So with this and how we understand the Malaysian buying behavior, through the technology of analytics, right, it will definitely help everyone in that sense. So it will greatly benefit everyone with the insights and technology they have to create relevant packages to provide to our consumers and also to our partners.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Angelica from Traveloka. But before we go to Mr. Gary, I would like to share this one study being done in United States, where they actually tested a client or a customer to purchase a wine. So this one lady went to a wine store and they play a French song. So the tendency for the lady to look for a French wine is higher than other types of wine. Versus on the other day, they tried to play a German song at the same shop, and the lady tend to actually purchase a German wine. So to show you the emotions, even the memory, the perception will be based not only on logical thinking. So tourism marketers, tourism industry players, so how is it like is if we could actually, in the word, quote unquote, manipulate the mindset and the thinking. So without we going further, let's ask from Mr. Gary from his perspective of advertising and communication background, what would you take on that? What's your take on that? Yes, Mr. Tay.
Thank you, Dr. Kamril. I think the question we need to ask ourselves is, do we really need neuromarketing? Okay, and how does it really impact the tourism sector? I think in advertising and marketing, we have continually relied on brands and advertising that connect with consumers. Okay, let me give you an example. While you can appeal to a consumer at a rational level, as an example, let's look at iPhone. Okay, yes, you can compare specs, you can compare details, you can compare price, and yet iPhones outsells the nearest Android phone out there.
I'm using Samsung still.
And the question is that iPhone specifications aren't always the best.
Exactly.
Okay, because there is that emotive appeal of the Apple brand and that iPhone that makes that difference. Okay, so let me move on to a tourism angle to this. Okay, when I mention to you, I love New York, what comes to mind? Do you see that red heart and that I and the NY by its side? Or sometimes when you walk around, you look around, have you ever encountered 100% pure by New Zealand? Okay.
Yeah.
Or even look at advertising that comes across, it's more fun in the Philippines. All these things carry that difference. If you get it right, okay, and get your branding consistent, okay, and concise, people will be attracted. Just like our Malaysia Truly Asia as well. It's highly memorable. That's why, to the point of neuromarketing as it's emerging, the reality is that we've all been doing it all this while. Okay? And marketing isn't just about what I see and what I hear. Okay? Marketing is about appealing to all the five senses. That's why you see advertising agencies always trying to do very soft commercials that touch your heart. It's because it drives all kinds of emotive. Okay? From a tourism perspective, right? When you start looking at it, okay, can you remember a resort that used to put little chocolate pieces on your pillow before as they turn your bed over? We've seen it, Anantara or whatever resort in Bali, right? Okay, So why do they give chocolates?
Yep.
Yes, it's nice, it's a touch, but please remember, chocolate is pleasurable.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is also a dopamine,
Yeah.
right?
Seeking pleasure, huh?
It's a pleasure. That's why they do that. And you notice all our neighboring countries and all that, you notice that they always have this little bowl of liquid with flowers in it.
Thailand used to do that a lot.
Why? Yeah. Why do they do that? It's because of the scent. It's that smell, right? It's the scent that keeps people excited. It drives different types of experiences that you go through when I step into the room, right? So dopamine itself is a very interesting topic because you get it in social media marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, why there is this addiction over Instagram as an example?
Yeah.
Okay,
Younger one.
TikTok.
Younger
Why?
one this year.
How many hours do you spend on TikTok, Dr. Kamil? Kamril?
Depending I have the time or not. All right. But probably at different age, I still go on Instagram.
So with Instagram, okay, it is the self gratification.
Right.
When people like my posting, I get that little dopamine hit. See, say, oh, gee, 1,000 people saw my posting, right? So all these are just part of all the marketing tools that you have, and you can readily use them and consistently use them. That's how you build brands, right?
And I think we have a video that I think Mr. Tay wanted to share. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we have this one interesting video from Cathay Pacific. Is that right? Yep. So
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we have 2 pieces of film.
Right.
Okay. And both of them are actually.
So we managed to pressure the committee so that our session, Save the Best for Last, would have a video. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy one video.
Perhatian kepada semua penumpang penerbangan antarabangsa. Bagi memastikan kelancaran perjalanan anda dinasihatkan agar melalui proses daftar masuk, pemeriksaan imigresen dan pemeriksaan kastam lebih awal. Terima kasih. Attention to all passengers on the international flights. To ensure smooth.
We all miss this sound. And one more is from the Cathay Pacific.
Oh, our video has stopped. Okay, let me just jump in very quickly to explain a little bit. The Cathay Pacific piece of film is actually quite interesting because what it was actually produced in 2017. Okay, and what it did was it was like a little project, and they recorded the sound of travel. So what they did was they captured a travel journey between like KL to Hong Kong, and all they did was they captured all the different kinds of sound, and of course later on they produced a piece of music using all those pieces of sound that they captured. But where I'm trying to get at is ASMR is something, you know how when we get onto the online, you want to get those mechanical keyboards that has that weird sound, or when you watch a TikTok video of fried chicken and you get all that crispy, crunchy stuff flying around and it's got all that sound effects. That is what that they're using sound as for neuromarketing.
All right, okay, that's interesting from Mr. Gary. So having said all of this neurology, neuromarketing, let's ask Dr. Salmi, we go back to Associate Professor Dr. Salmi. What would you suggest to our tourism players, tourism marketers, especially some of us who are here today, especially from the sales and marketing department? What would you suggest for the tourism players to do or to embark from the perspective of neuromarketing?
Thank you. That's a very good question. All right, Mr. Gary have shown us now how the Cathay Pacific is using one of the stimuli that our brain works, which is sounds.
That's the key word, the stimuli.
Yeah, stimuli. So, and just now, before the video, we also have seen I Love New York.
Right.
So that is also another stimuli, because human brain work, we are so self-centered. I love New York. I love Penang.
Right.
And also you did mention that you use Instagram a lot instead of other social media. That also shows the current consumer behavior nowadays. We are also self-centric, because in using Instagram, you are actually portraying about ourselves, right? So as a travel agent, as the tourism industry, neuromarketing can basically, you can use them to leverage whatever cost that you have. Because if you know how to tackle the consumer needs, the traveler needs, it will actually reduce your cost to do your unnecessary marketing strategy.
So do we talk about the needs, or should we talk about how we actually influence the mindset?
Yes, definitely that's also the fundamental keys that we need to understand. But before you have some things, before when you want to introduce some things, I think this is what Apple did, right? They basically know, but perhaps that we are consumer, we do not know what we want.
Exactly.
I do not know where I want to travel in 6 months ahead.
Right.
But with the advertisement that I frequently see, that actually stimulate my interest, my desire. So that is how neuromarketing can help the tourism industry to produce something that travelers doesn't think of it.
That's a very interesting point. Ladies and gentlemen, 1st of April or April Fool is not a full day. It's a day that each and every one of us will be able to flock into airports again. So tell me, probably we wanted to ask, probably some of you, maybe we asked some of you, Datuk Sri Mirza, which destination would you go if you have the chance? Datuk, silakan. Which destination? Don't tell me Bangkok, please. Which destination, Datuk, and why? And we wanted to ask. This is where, the neuro, because we have no clue where we are going. Yeah. Can someone give a microphone to Datuk Mirza, Datuk Sri Mirza? Instead of people asking me questions, I ask questions.
Okay, I will go to Japan.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Why is that? We wanted to know why is that. Is that sushi? We still have sushi a lot here.
No, it's the sakura season soon. Yeah.
Sakura.
You see, this is the emotion of sakura.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, right. Sakura. So, kirei desu ne. So this is where we want to see how the emotions will actually recall of kirei desu ne.
Yeah.
So this is to show you how neurology or neuromarketing will actually enhance his recall of his trip before.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. If you ask me where do I go, that's a secret. So let's go back. Let's go back to Traveloka, Ms. Chan, silakan. So what about Traveloka? What will be as a super app, what will be your take, and how do you guys use neuromarketing to promote your product further?
So we find this working with influencers or key influencers. It's a very highly engaging way to actually promote our products and services, right? So earlier, Gary mentioned about water, and flower that triggers the sense of smell, right? And then the chocolate, which is the sense of taste, right? With key influencers and working with key influencers, it factors in the brand memory, right? So using that desire, right, to try out the experiences that the influencers has, right? So we actually for example, in Traveloka, our brand ambassador is Diana Daniel, right? So we used her, and she has that amount of X amount of followers, right, with her. And similar to what we mentioned earlier, you know, we look at TikTok, we look at Instagrams, right, and that triggers the memories of our consumers to purchase products to Traveloka, right? So it's very interesting, right? So neuromarketing helps us to go deeper into it and connect and understand the behaviors of the people, right? So how the subconscious mind actually triggers the purchasing behavior of our consumers.
So this is one way on how it's not about allowing them to explore new destinations, new products, but also to make sure they are being reminded, hey, you forgot Penang, hey, you forgot Ipoh, hey, you forgot Sungai Petani, or hey, you forgot Perlis. So this is how the neurology or neuromarketing works in order to trigger the underlying, not only what we're going to do in the future, but also in the past. Is that right?
Correct.
All right,
Exactly.
interesting. That's very, very interesting. So we wanted to allow probably any questions from the floor. The beauty of it, as a moderator, you can ask anything because I'm not the one who's going to answer, because these three beautiful people, they are going to crack their head and answer to your questions. So if anyone wanted to have any questions, we would love to have one question from you. Oh, there's one question from the floor. All right, silakan.
Hi, good evening. My name is Trisha. I'm the head of sales of Penang Convention Exhibition Bureau.
Are you allowed to are you allowed to ask?
Yes,
All right,
because
okay.
as the head of sales, we have KPI.
Okay,
And
all
I'm
right, go
asking
ahead.
these questions
Go
because
ahead, go
I need
ahead.
help. I need help from the experts. Now, when you talk about neuromarketing, you mentioned about emotion engagement.
Right.
If you remember year 2019, before the pandemic come in year 2020, Dolce & Gabbana, they have a very negative marketing. And despite, it was because of chopstick. Remember Dolce & Gabbana? It was because of chopstick. And because of that negative video, in the span of 2 weeks, the sales of Dolce & Gabbana spiked more than 35% in China. Now, my question is, because my boss is over there, he gave me high KPI. My question is, I need your help.
Okay.
Right now, a lot of people have been using negative news
Right.
to draw attention,
right.
to raise awareness. And we cannot deny.
Right. It works.
Exactly. Now, my question is, as a destinations, even the property in the destinations, we are review-centric. We are review-driven. How do we entice giving impact without risking
The negative
without risking our reputation,
Right.
but at the same time, you are still drawing as the magnitude of the awareness that you're able to draw is as huge as negative news. Just like Dolce & Gabbana. Dolce & Gabbana is a brand, but destination and also property, which is so much of experience-driven, we cannot take risks. So please help me. Thank
All right,
you.
we will definitely help you, Ms. Risha, and I think the best person I would actually navigate the question would be our Mr. Gary. So go ahead, Mr. Gary.
So you give me the tough one, right?
Of course, because I
Okay.
think you have all the glitters that we could actually rely on you. And you have one more video, right? Okay.
Yeah. Huh? No. I think that,
No
that
more.
was
Okay.
the only.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me try to tackle the question of, is negative or positive good? And we've seen a lot of brands tackle negative and come out strong, just like the Dolce example. Let me share this experience with you. Do you remember Nike? Okay. Recently, they ran a racism ad.
Right.
And one of their athletes actually bowed on his knees, and it was seen as a negative impact to the brand, and yet Nike sold gazillions, right? And they took it and they made it even larger. So there are different ways of how brands can leverage challenges like these, right? But I wouldn't advise to go all the way with negative, because there are people who are trying to sell a certain type of slipper which didn't work out, right? So the thing is that, like Dolce and all these, they are brands that people already love.
Right.
There's a very famous creative director, global creative director from Saatchi's and Saatchi's, and he once mentioned that if you have a love mark and if you build a brand that people love so much, okay, no matter what you do with it, they would still love it somehow. Right? So Dolce has already reached that level. So that's why we always say with brands, you need to be consistent,
Right.
and you need to make sure that you connect with your audience.
That's the word, the key word is
Right.
connect, yeah?
Yes. But that's where neuromarketing is very interesting. Okay. So let me give you some examples. Okay. You know that Google actually for their search links, that blue color link that you see in Google, okay, that shade of blue actually went through a study, and they picked that particular shade of blue, and that's a specific particular blue, because that gave them 10% more clicks or something like that.
Right. So each
and-
so basically, sorry to cut you. So basically, each color, each font, each background has emotions to it, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not only about choosing any color. It's not only choosing blue is blue, but what shades of blue. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's how they studied it. Even when you start looking at Amazon as an example, you know that when you look at the Amazon logo, there's a little smile there.
Yeah.
You know that little curve at the bottom of the Amazon logo,
Right.
right? Why is that so?
Same
So
goes to our-
there is a
same goes to our
subliminal
watch, right?
message of.
Same goes to our watch when they do advertisement that the watch is has to be 10-10.
Yeah. But if you look at the subtlety of the messaging that they brought across, from their logos, is actually the A pointing to Z. So it's the A to Z, and yet they can embed that little smile in there. So if you think about it, you say,
Right.
that's very interesting, right? Okay, but you don't see it. I was quite interested when you brought the wine example. Actually, that case study was this. Yes, when they played French music, people bought more French wine. But when they asked that same consumer who bought that bottle of French wine, did you buy it because of the music? The response was actually no. So that's how the unconscious mind works.
Right.
Interesting, right?
Right. So we are actually captivating the subconscious mind rather than the conscious mind. So ladies and gentlemen, let's probably Miss Angelica, something that you wanted to add to that. Are you there? Probably the line is not really strong. Are you there, Miss Angelica? I think the line is quite weak on your end. All right. While waiting for the signal to be clear, I would like to ask maybe Dr. Salmi, what would be your last word? Okay. What would be your? Oh, we have a question. Yeah. We have a questions from our digital participants, And this is from Hazel. Thank you, Hazel, for the question. How neuromarketing works, especially in the business world. You are having the right person with me right now.
All right, thank you. I think it's very general, it's business world.
Business
All right.
world.
Okay, because today we are basically
Focusing
on tourism. But I'm trying my best to actually answer these questions. How best that neuromarketing work? I can see that any kind of industry can basically use neuromarketing. Mr. Gary has mentioned about Nike just now, and which is very true. We have done this in our lab by just test on colors. So yeah, colors. We thought we put a display a few brands, and we also stimulate them with colors. And we also thought that the consumer will actually more concerned on the price. But surprisingly, it's not.
Right.
They are actually, the colors just attract them more. So when we map the heat map, we can see the brains and the eyes look at the colors more than the price and the brands. So meaning to say that is also a very, very important stimuli. And if I could use this one example, I hope that the audience also know about BTS. A very pop.
BTS, all right. They even have their own
colors.
Not only colors, they have their own army.
Correct. And the colors that to associate them, which is purple.
Yep.
And that is how even we can see that in the creative industry,
right,
they're using neuromarketing to attract their consumer.
Right.
And I think that goes to this tourism industry, how you can actually leverage the good works to use it here, to leverage neuromarketing with your...
So to answer to your question, Tricia, just now, is actually to look, not only looking at the strategy, but also looking at the colors that you use, the font size that you use. So those are the things that actually will trigger the subconscious mind. All right, so we have a signal that we should stop very soon, but then before that, we have... Oh, question, what's the question? All right, all right. Before that, we will actually have the questions from the back. All right, I thought that they're waving because they're using phone. So because BTS, when we go to concert, they're waving like this.
Correct.
So, how would I know? No, just kidding. So go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Prashant. Just as a consumer, I have this. Sometimes I feel like these devil marketers hack my brain. Like sometimes they are making me do things which I really don't want to do.
We are not evil. We are just being nice.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you guys, as neuromarketers, how do you guys justify this feeling? Like I'm sure a lot of consumers feel the same like me.
Do you mind to? Do you mind to repeat the questions, please?
Okay. So as a consumer, like sometimes like I feel like I've been asked to do things which I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And
right. That's what we like about you.
Yeah. And also, at times I feel like, this neuromarketing has really hacked my brain. They've been following all my cookies and make me do things stage by stages.
But you will never kill yourself. Trust me. So, Dr. Salmi, we understand your question.
We understand. Yeah, we understand your question. Let's also talk about the ethical things that we do in neuromarketing. Of course, in any kind of business, ethics is very, very important.
Precisely.
And even though if you have read about suicide tourism, it sounds very negative, but it does work in the outside world, all right? So meaning to say that anything that we do, including neuromarketing, that should be a course of conduct.
Course of conduct, yeah.
Exactly. And also, we need to also have a very good communications. Perhaps that we talk about, we're having a seminar, workshop, we can keep discussing the do and the don'ts that we need to do, that we can't do in the neuromarketing. So that's basically how we can actually protect our industry on what we are doing things.
Oh, the heat is getting higher, ladies and gentlemen. I thought that we are going to leave very soon. But again, to answer to your question and what Dr. Salmi had said just now, just to share, the French government had actually banned this neuromarketing kind of thingy. And this has been in the past of 10 years ago because of ethical issues. So ladies and gentlemen, we have another question from Joanne. All right, and then Joanne, thank you so much for the questions. And Joanne is asking us, how can brands take advantage of neuromarketing in their marketing campaign? Probably, maybe we can have Angelica. Are you there, Angelica? Okay, the signal is really poor right now. So probably, because this is a harder question, why don't you always take the harder question, Mr. Gary?
So I've been enthused on all the difficult questions, is it?
Yeah.
No, but it's an interesting question. Okay.
Indeed.
But just think about this. Think about this. If you were running your own website, or maybe you are in collaboration with Angelica, okay, on Traveloka, and imagine if you had information about a particular visitor, right, who loves rock climbing, as an example. And when he clicks onto this particular resort, I switch the image. Instead of a beachfront, I show images that maybe has some cliffs and rock faces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that information, what we can do is we can subtly plant little messages in there to create excitement for that particular user. What if we knew that a certain type of color or shade of color actually makes people click more and actually converts sales? So maybe it's a warmer shade of color when I start thinking about beach resorts.
Right.
So there are a lot of ways where you can actually use certain types of behaviors and knowledge and information or big data, okay, to help you do that little bit more to push the consumer to making that decision.
All right,
Right.
interesting
So-
point from Gary. And just to share is that probably I just wanted to share at the same time. People, how many of you over here has a Mini Cooper? Probably some of you drives a Mini. Mini never sells a car. What do they sell? And the new campaign that they have right now is to sell lifestyle excitement. And Mini new ad never share about any technology inside the car. They couldn't be bothered what they have interiorly, but how the car gets you the attention, how the car gets you the lifestyle, how the car gets you, the excitement. So to show you that, people who buy Mini would never compare, hey, I should buy Camry, hey, I should buy the 3 Series, hey, I should buy the C-Class, because the pricing is almost similar. So why would you buy an entry-level Mini at the same price of a C-Class? So again, ladies and gentlemen, that people who buys Mini is not buying a car. So in a way, this is all about neurology and it's all about neuromarketing. So the more that they will sell Mini from the perspective of the price versus for another price, that means nobody will buy Mini. Is that right? So ladies and gentlemen, we have probably one last question, if we may, before we close this session. So ladies and gentlemen, probably from the digital audience, or maybe from our distinguished participants over here, maybe the last questions before we end the session. Anyone? Probably they are. No, they shouldn't be hungry because they have eaten a lot just now. I've seen
Maybe
them.
their brain is stimulated or thinking about something.
I've seen them, had a lot just now, and then probably because they are being stimulated of the dinner tonight.
Correct.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna have a nice dinner tonight at the poolside. So that poolside, does it really excite you instead of having dinner? So this is to show you, again, the words that we use, such as tailors. Yeah, we have people from Taylor's University, and I like the way that you actually, put Taylor Lakeside instead of Taylor Sunway.
Exactly.
You know, so Taylor Lakeside, it excites students to go to the college or to the university. All right.
Yeah.
So Taylor's. Don't forget to actually invite me later. So yes, we have one. It's always at the back right now. I think they are not sleeping. All right. Interesting.
Sorry to disturb you. This is by popular request, so this question has to be asked.
Do you mind if you take off your mask and sit and stand a little bit further because for social distancing? Merci beaucoup.
Okay, you can hear me well. Thank you. I just want to check. More relevant to the industry, the travel industry, especially the travel agents. Okay, so you know there is a border opening issue, there's product issue, there's supply issue, there's eco issue. What can you recommend to use the Neuro to sell today, travel tomorrow?
Buy now and travel tomorrow. Is
Yeah,
that what
because many things are not ready at the moment now.
Of course.
How do you?
I wish I could answer, but they told me, Dr. Kamril, you are the moderator, so I will keep quiet. So I'll try to ask our distinguished speaker for today, Miss Angelica. And Miss Angelica, are you still there? All right. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you can hear me. Okay. So we actually have that program online as well in Traveloka. So during the pandemic itself, a lot of the travel industry were not able to sell the products, right? So basically it's all on a standstill, right? And we noticed, right, just like everyone else, we noticed that from the industry players, they wanted to continue selling something, right? But just could not sell it now, right? Consumers on the other hand, through statistics, they want to still continue to purchase, but they don't want to stay now because of the pandemic, right? So we then came up with buy now, stay later, right? Buy now, stay later campaign, right? Where both parties is a win-win situation for both parties. Consumers can purchase now and stay later, while our partners then is able to sell their products now and get some sort of a revenue, and then provide the service later. So during the pandemic, we continued and we can still continue to do so, right? As we said, the borders are open, but perhaps the industry is not ready to have the influx of business. We then can promote through the app and promote buy now, stay later to consumers to say that you can actually purchase it now, stay later, and still talk about the destination itself, right? We can still use our influencers to continue to promote the destination itself or the product itself or the services that we have. So we can still stimulate the consumers' brains into purchasing it now, but stay at the later time, so we can promote at the later dates. Right?
Okay.
So that's how we can accommodate for all consumers and as well as clients.
If I could add, Dr. K,
Sure.
I think tourism industry shouldn't be worried so much when the borders is open. This is how our brain works, especially when we said that by now, our old brains, they really go for that kind of things. When you said that sale will be off 50% and we run off soon. So immediately, that's how we will rush and buy that.
Like buy before 1st of April.
Exactly.
So before 1st of April midnight, you should have 50% discount.
Exactly.
So the brains get that rush.
Rush.
And that is the stimuli.
That is stimuli. That's how our brain works. So
And we should also sell the excitement. Instead of selling packages, sell excitement. And that's what we call selling emotions, ladies and gentlemen. With that question, And he says over here, time's up. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the time is up, and I would like to say, thank you so much, and my utmost appreciation to Miss Angelica, Mr. Gary, a big wave to everyone. So, these two distinguished speakers, and of course, this lovely lady with me today, Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Salmi from USM. And I'm Dr. Kamril Abdul Karim from UITM. I would like to congratulate again to the team for a wonderful, marvelous session that we have for the past, from the morning until this evening. So with that, thank you so much everyone for your attention. So we'll see you soon later.